Belonging is not sustained by intention alone. It is built through repeated, ordinary practices of welcome, attention, and repair that tell people, you matter here. And that is the heart of this Friday, the small work of welcome. If belonging is built, then it must be practiced, not in theory, not once, not only when it's convenient. It must be practiced in the rhythms of everyday life. Morning, Ange.
Good morning.
That was a good intro.
It was a good intro. I love that phrase, you matter here. And just thinking about, I listened to a interview a while back on a podcast that featured an author named Jennifer Wallace. And she had written a book called Mattering. And her entire interview had me drawn into this book because I think this is partly a subject matter that I appreciate and lean toward trying to cultivate in my own life. But this whole idea of mattering, and she uses statistics about when people feel like they matter, when they feel like they belong within the workplace. I mean, productivity within the workplace grows. Again, it's not you're productive, therefore you matter.
Right.
It's you matter, therefore you want to continually contribute to the betterment of the whole.
Yeah.
And so she found this on repeat. And then she was trying to advocate for simple ways that you could allow people to feel like they mattered, that you could prioritize people. And I found that super fascinating. But her biggest one was, if you make a commitment to do something, you do it. Mm. And I thought about my dad. My dad is say what you mean what you say. And my dad will do almost anything rather than to break his word that he said he would do something. And I appreciate that about him. And I think that shows the people he shows up for, it shows them that they matter.
Yep. And
he matters to himself because he's
made a commitment.
He made a commitment, and he's honoring that. So well done, Dad.
So all week, if you've been joining us, we've been exploring this topic of belonging and in a larger context of wisdom expressed through humanity. And in an even bigger context of wisdom. We started out with talking about wisdom expressed through the natural world, and we are ending the bigger and smaller theme this week with talking about belonging, why it matters and how it's difficult, the things that we've misunderstood about it. And today we are going to just spend a little bit of time talking about how to be a builder of belonging. And I love that metaphor of building because it implies, in my mind at least, implies like a side by side. When I say builder, I see us like laying bricks together. Or, I'm hammering the nails and you're sawing the wood. But yeah, it definitely seems like we're in this together. Yeah.
I thought the same thing, but a little bit different spin on the metaphor, seeing that my husband, your brother, my son-in-law, one of my sons is in the building industry. I was thinking, it implies, not only does it imply cooperative work, but it also implies a process that you can't put on a roof without a foundation.
Yeah.
So we're not asking for, I think so often, again, that goes back to me saying you can't just read a 3-step plan to something and think you're going to now awaken as this super human who understands all these concepts and has all of these concepts operating at full capacity. It is practicing one thing at a time in your life until it becomes a routine.
Until the foundation's laid.
Yes.
And then
you'll move on to plumbing.
Or the other things.
Yeah. Electrical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Framing.
Drywall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think another thing we should reiterate too is that We've been trying to straddle two lanes this week of a responsibility and an interaction, I think, with myself, a belonging to myself and a belonging with others.
So you would say alignment,
I like that.
where inner and outer
Yeah.
meet.
Inner and outer work. Yes. Where they meet. So today, as we talk about how to be a builder, we're not just talking about a builder in community. We're talking about a builder for the internal Deanna and internal Angela and the internal you.
Yep.
So where do you think is a good place to start if I want to participate in this thing of belonging?
Which lane are we talking?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
Self-awareness. You guessed it. Self-awareness internally, but then an awareness or a noticing attention, both. Obviously, that's what self-awareness is. It's an attention to my own inner self, but then an attention likewise to those around me. And more than just, we several weeks ago we made jokes about me noticing what my husband had on for work before he went to work, and we've had laughs about that since. But that's where it starts, is like just being aware, like being present to the life I'm in.
Right.
And noticing my own self. This is why we talk so much about like what is your body doing when you're in this situation? That's turning inside to know, like, how am I feeling here? Doing a little checkup. Maybe like me, you could name some situations that you are prone to resort to trying to fit in instead of belonging. That's, again, a noticing a little bit of, oh, okay, when I get in this environment, I tend to turn on the default and try to fit in rather than just really belong here.
Or like what we talked about Wednesday, noticing if you are constantly seeking validation.
Yep.
Well, I was just thinking about really practically with others, sitting at the table we use so often as our example, but being aware enough to where it's not like we're just showing up to the table to eat, but slowing down and who is missing? Like just starting with that. Oh, so-and-so is not at the table tonight. Whether
Where
that
are
means
they?
Yes, exactly. Maybe they're at work, or maybe they're not feeling well. Like just the awareness, or like what you just said about noticing what your body's feeling inside. I think when you start to do that, it trains this muscle of noticing it for other people too.
Yes.
And so whose head is hanging low tonight? Yeah. Who's a little bit quieter?
Yes.
Who
doesn't want to answer the table questions?
Who's zoned out?
Yeah. That's a real.
Who's not engaging?
Yes. And noticing when someone does seem to be carrying something heavier than normal, which is what you were kind of alluding to as well. So I think being willing to do each of those in community is an affirmation to other people that you matter here.
Yeah.
And you're seen here. Those are the first elementary steps in this building process of belonging. What would you say is next?
I think another one is invitation. And of course it starts like elementary, like you said, inviting somebody to lunch or to dinner or to meet at a park or for coffee. But it goes beyond just a general invitation to inviting their whole selves.
Yeah.
So you have to be a safe space for that and a welcoming space. But even the invite of tell me your story. I think you're so good at this. But inviting the whole them.
Yeah. I as I was thinking through this, I was thinking also, I am at my core relational and all that. I feel like I'm quite hospitable. I'm always telling people you're wanted and welcome if you're ever in our area. I've told
it's always a yes.
Yes, I say that all the time. And I've told random people, they'll say like, oh, I want to be at dinner at your house. I'm like, well, come on, I mean, and I genuinely mean that. However, this was a little bit like made me think about that. I think there may be people also in my life that know that they're always wanted and welcome, but also just need me to call them or send them a text and say, listen, I want you
Yes.
to come to my house, or I want to meet up with you at this time. And I will say, I think this is where sometimes my husband is so good, because we tease him because he's so scheduled and he's got so many alarms that remind him of things. But what he is so intentional about is like, no, we're getting it on the calendar. What is a date that we want these people to come over? Or we want to invite these specific people to come over. And so I feel like I know how that makes me feel when somebody intentionally reaches out to just me and says, I want to spend time with you. It's not like, hey, we need to go have lunch
That's
at
what I
some
was just
point.
thinking. We need to get together sometime.
And it never happens.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so yes, inviting others, but how do we think about this now with inviting our whole selves to ourselves?
do you already have an answer on this, or do you want me to answer? Is this rhetorical, or is this?
It's not rhetorical.
Oh, okay. I was thinking sometimes, first of all, you have to make sure you've noticed who are the parts of Angela. And then I have to intentionally say, you know what? This part of me is going to prone to, in this space, not want to be a part of that. So I'm going to say, you're still wanted and welcome here.
Yes.
Your wordiness or whatever part of my personality that I tend to say is not,
Welcome.
won't fit in here. I can say, you may not fit in, but you belong. So come on.
Yes.
You matter here.
Yes. I want to read this section from The 5 Longings, What We've Always Wanted and Already Have, a book by David Richo. And so he just lists these affirmations about ourselves that I would love to read, that I think will help understand this welcoming of ourselves. I let myself feel how loved and loving I am. I am grateful that I'm loved and loving. I hold my longing to be loved and loving with openness for what more may happen. I cherish the meaningfulness of my life and of all that happens. I am grateful for how meaningful my life is. I hold my longing for meaning with openness for what more may reveal itself. I enjoy my own liberty. I am grateful that I am free. I hold my longing for freedom with openness for what more may be. I contact the joy that remains in me always. I am grateful for the joy within me. I hold my longing for happiness with openness for what more may come to be. I tap into my ongoing evolutionary impulse. I am grateful that I am always evolving toward more love, wisdom, and healing. I hold my longing to keep evolving with openness to what next may bloom. I am an ongoing experiment in love, meaning, freedom, happiness, and growth. I trust that these are ineradicable capacities in myself. At the same time as longings, they are ever unfolding, ever innovating, ever renovating the style of our whole evolutionary world.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Will you read the first line of that last one you just read?
I am an ongoing experiment in love, meaning, freedom, happiness, and growth.
There's another t-shirt. I'm an ongoing experiment.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like that's like my oldest daughter always says, she reserves the right to change your mind. And there again, I'm just sitting here thinking, isn't this how we do? We don't allow ourselves to change our minds. So we don't, or change, like evolve into becoming who we really are. Therefore, we're really uncomfortable when other people change.
Right.
Because we're not comfortable with ourselves changing. Whew. Okay, well, that's a little deeper than normal Fridays go.
That's for another episode.
That is. Wow, that's a great.
Isn't that good?
I love that.
Thank you, David Richo.
Yes, always. We're taking July off.
Okay, that sounded dramatic.
Okay, let me try it again. We're taking most of July off
We'll still be here every week.
with some of our favorite episodes
A countdown of favorite moments,
and a little peek at season 2.
so we're not exactly leaving.
We're just putting the podcast in summer mode,
Like shorts and flip-flops.
but for your ears. So then the next maybe part of this building process would be something that I am trying desperately to grow in my capacity for and my skill at, which would be to listen.
I think it's fair to say at this point, you could say, I am growing.
Okay. I am growing in my capacity. I'm an ever
Evolving.
living experiment in listening, even as I talk. I feel like people just want to be heard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. And I'm just thinking about, what does it mean to be heard? Because people, I guess some people just need quiet so that they can bounce their words off somebody. But there is something to being heard, I think, for me, that involves not feeling like I'm being rushed to get to the point. And I've talked about this, it's a confession, but I will quit. If I think that you are needing for me to get to the point, I'm like, I'm done. You know? I mean, that's just my...
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without being corrected, like, or rush to a solution
Yes.
or something like that, that is just like, you're not listening to me.
Yeah.
I just need you to listen.
Yeah.
The gift that is listening, I think, is an incredible one.
Yeah. And listening to the degree that you can then engage in meaningful follow-up conversation.
Yes.
I feel like that is when I feel like I matter. Somebody's not only heard me, we can, at some point we'd have to tease out the difference in heard and listened, but nonetheless, they've actually listened to what I've said. And it's not just listening to what I have verbally said, it's listening to non-verbal cues.
It's the meaning underneath.
Yes. It's all the things, right? Like listening with your eyes. So yes. And I have not been always great at this. I think of raising children that I'm just like, okay, yeah, and keep on moving. But sometimes it's about capacity and sometimes it's about intentionality. And so I think as I have spent more time trying to listen with my ears and my eyes, it's easier then to follow up with meaningful conversation on the heels of that.
Yeah.
And that's something obviously we're always advocating for. Hello at the Morning Share. The whole podcast was built on having good conversations.
Yeah.
Instead of just behind a screen commenting on something. We see where that got us. Nobody feels like they belong.
Right. Well, I was just thinking, what greater gift could you give to someone in the kind of culture that we live in of busyness, isolation, phone scrolling, all of that, to be a genuine listener to someone.
Right. And genuinely saying, like you said, your whole self matters here.
Mm-hmm. Your inner self matters.
Yes.
Like I'm in this because I don't want to just hear the words you're saying.
Yeah.
I want to know what is under this. Mm-hmm. Why does this matter?
Yeah. The emotions behind it, the story behind it.
Yes. Yeah.
Matters. And maybe sometimes that's listening to boundaries and saying your boundaries matter here. If this isn't a place right now where you want to talk that through, you want to share that, I'll respect that too.
Yeah. Okay, this next one I get to talk about first.
Why is that?
Because I want to brag on you. I always do when it comes to this point because you're so good about this. And I'm not going to use the cop-out that I don't have a good memory. But I don't have a good memory. But remembering something about someone. And it could just be remembering their name. Like somebody at the grocery store or the bank. And then remembering one small detail. We talked a little bit about this, I think, in the week of Everyone is a Gift.
Yeah.
Remember stories. Remember the griefs and the joys. I mean, for what it communicates when I haven't seen someone for, a while. And they're like, tell me about, now wasn't this, da-da-da-da, and they recall the last conversation that you had with them. It means so much that they remembered something about me.
Well, it says you mattered to me, like not only in the present moment.
Yes, it kept mattering.
Yes.
You kept mattering.
Yes.
And for the ones of us who don't have a super tight memory like other people, it's going to take intention. So like I might have to write it down. I might have to carry something with me and write it down.
Yeah.
To take an extra step to either really cement it in my brain or be able to recall it when I want to.
The thing I sometimes do is, again, this is revealing all my nerdy secrets, but if you share something with me, a lot of times as I'm going to sleep at night, I reflect on my day. And if a conversation, like particularly somebody shared something happened, then I will rehearse that in my mind and be like, wow, I'm really thankful that Deanna shared that thing about her, growing up or something. That's not to say I remember everything, but that's sometimes how it happens.
Yeah. I think at the heart of remembering is you are not invisible.
You matter here.
Yeah.
You belong.
Yeah. But so what is it that we need to remember about ourselves?
I think there is a beauty of remembering the versions of yourself. Recounting your own story.
Yeah.
So stories are important, but so is my own story. And so I think there is a part that helps me make peace with the parts of myself and allows me to remember my own different names. You shared, you had so many different nicknames. Well, I would think that every one of those nicknames has a story.
Yeah.
You mentioned your uncle said he named you Indiana. You've got your precious goddaughter who calls you either Queen Dietz or then her mother calls you Deirdre, right? So every one of these has a story. So start there. Like if you have a nickname, remind yourself, why do you have this nickname? Hopefully it's a positive one. If not, then there's a story with that too. And you have to make peace with that.
Right, yeah.
Like that maybe that was a really hard time and you hated that nickname. But this to me is all a part of letting those parts, even those hard parts, know that they're seen, they're heard, and they're welcome here. Even the hard stuff.
And they play a part.
They do.
In the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know what necessarily to equate this in the building process would be. I would say potentially like either the plumbing or the electrical work, but is repair. If we're going to allow people to know, if we're going to build communities where people belong, we have got to get better at saying, I'm sorry. I did that wrong. I said that wrong. We've got to be willing to repair relationships that have been broken by pride, arrogance, sometimes a misunderstanding or an assumption.
Yeah. It makes me think about when I studied growth and development as humans, and they were talking about the family unit, or really any sort of unit, that the growth happens in this repair. So, it's almost like a test. Like we'll go through this hard thing together, and then if we can repair, then we move on to the next stage of development. And so it really, those times of repair are so important because there's healing that happens and growth to go on and keep growing together.
Well, I feel like this is the point in the diagram or the building process where building stops if it's not done. Belonging can't keep going on without repair.
Yeah.
Because then fractures are happening and then everybody starts fitting in. So if you're fitting, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then that's why I equated it a little bit to either plumbing or electrical, because it has to keep flowing in order to be a working, viable system. System in a good way, not in a bad way. But it stops the flow of belonging. If you're unwilling to, inevitably, we are going to wound people. We are going to be wounded. We're all human beings. We all are good as we're involved in community together. Feelings may be hurt. Again, misunderstandings. Well, not to throw a complete another analogy in the pot, but might as well. I was thinking of if you break your arm and you don't go get it set and put a cast on and repair it, it will grow back, but it will grow back malformed. which means it'll never work like it was was originally intended to work.
Yeah.
So then everything, like if I break my arm, then my hand, everything is going to now structurally is going to change and have to adapt because the break wasn't healed.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, it still functions, but it doesn't function. It doesn't
holistically.
Flourish. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And everything's affected.
Mm-hmm.
But to repair, though, that too implies both humility and vulnerability.
Well, before we move on, what do we need to repair within ourselves? What within us do we need to be curious about and forgiving about and patient with and let heal?
Those are great questions.
Yeah.
I think so much of the wounds that people continually carry, and then sometimes even the basis for wounds I inflict upon other people, are unhealed wounds in myself.
Mm. For sure.
Well, there's that whole phrase of what you don't repair, you will repeat.
Right.
So that's what I'm sitting here thinking. If I don't take honest looks at myself and see where I have been wounded, where I have refused to allow my whole self to show up for whatever reason, where I've patrolled parts of myself and made that part of myself feel unwelcomed or shunned or shamed, where I've not done the work to make sure that I have. There are moments where I just have to forgive myself. I didn't intentionally cause that harm to someone else. I could take ownership that I did, but I didn't intentionally do that. Then at some level, once I have apologized, I have to also forgive myself. And so, yeah, I think to the degree that I have shown my own self grace, compassion, forgiveness, tenderness, I'm able then to show other people that, because I'm fully aware of my own capacity for hurting other people. Well, I think as we finish up this conversation, this is, I won't say it is hard work, but it is so worthy work. It is the way, I think it is the way to repair the whole world before it's over with. To be able to belong to myself and then be a builder of places that others find belonging. And so to that end, as we tend to do, to give space now both to talk it out, but then to look inward, to reflect on. There are some reflection questions that we had specifically tailored for today's part of the conversation that we were going to work through.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you need to slow down and give more attention to yourself and others? What practice could help you and those in your community feel more like marbles than puzzle pieces? Who needs an invitation from you and not just a general welcome? And where is repair needed? Within yourself and with others.
Maybe the practice this week is simple and concrete. Share a meal. Check in twice. Ask one deeper question. Make space for someone new. Or create one rhythm of mutual care.
The small things matter. A well-timed invitation can change the shape of a week. A good listening ear can change the shape of a relationship. And a humble apology can change the shape of a community.
May we be a people who know how to make room. May we learn the sacredness of attention, the courage of invitation, and the grace of repair. May belonging become not just something we desire, but something we practice together. Belonging is built when people are willing to stay, to listen, and to make room for one another's humanity. If you're enjoying the morning share, the best thing you can do is share it with a friend.
And don't forget to follow the show wherever you listen so we can keep meeting here each week. You can join the conversation on Substack. Send us a note at info@themorningshare.com or leave a comment wherever you listen to podcasts. We're listening, and we're grateful to be learning alongside of you.